David Williams with Jesus Ministries, and this is going to be a very brief talk about Islam and its effects on the human heart and mind.
Can we have the camera? Can we have this camera focusing on all the audience, sir? Can we have this camera focusing on all the audience? Because every now and then, every time we have a conference, every time we invite a speaker, they always can come with the same accusations. This speaker supports death penalty for homosexuals. This speaker supports death penalty for this crime or that. He is homophobic. They subjugate women, etc., etc., etc. It's the same old stuff coming all the time.
One of the facts that we have to respect is that homosexuality is a sin, adultery is a sin. These are things that God promises to punish if we continue living that way, but he does call us away from it. And so when it comes to the message of Jesus Christ, the believers in the Lord Jesus Christ and his Father are responsible for calling people out of rebellion into obedience, into fellowship, communion, perfect purity in their relationship with God by the power of God. So God gives men power to change their hearts. Islam does not encourage that. I'm not saying Islam doesn't encourage people to change. I'm saying that Islam does not purport to change people as far as Allah. That's not the way that people become Muslims. They become Muslims by believing the systems or by being forced into Islam. And of course, if you turn from Islam, you're murdered. So, what this host is attempting to prove is the fact that Islam essentially condemns a bunch of people, Jews, Christians, all who they would consider infidels and sinners. And he's basically going to articulate very clearly through this demonstration that it's not just one or two Muslim speakers, but it's all people who profess to be Muslim. He's saying that all of Islam is the same, but that the media is trying to differentiate and say this guy is a moderate Muslim, this guy is a radical Muslim. This speaker is going to prove that that is not true. It's all a lie, and that all of Islam calls for the death of the people that don't agree with Islam. If you don't agree with Islam, essentially, you're to be put to death. He makes that very clear.
And we always try to tell them, I always try to tell them that, look, it's not that speaker that we're inviting who has these extreme radical views, as you say. These are general views that every Muslim actually has. Every Muslim believes in these things.
So if anyone tells you that they are Muslim and that they don't believe in the death of infidels, then they are saying either they're lying to you, which in Islam they are allowed to lie to you. According to the law of Taqiyya, they are allowed to lie. So either they're lying to you or they're part of the infidel crowd. And because Muslims in America are the minority, then they may not espouse these full views. But as the majority of Muslims grow, then they'll have the power to be more vocal and to stand for what they truly believe in, which is the death of everyone who disagrees with Islam.
Just because they're not telling you about it, or just because they're not out there in the media, doesn't mean they don't believe in them. So I will ask you, everyone in the room, how many of you are normal Muslims? You're not extremists, you're not radical, just normal Sunni Muslims. Please raise your hands. Everybody, mashallah, subhanallah. Okay, take down your hands again. how many of you agree that men and women should sit separate? Please raise your hands.
Sisters in particular.
Everyone agree. Everyone agree. Brothers and sisters. Subhanallah. So it's not just these radical sheikhs then. Allahu Akbar. Next question. How many of you agree that the punishments described in the Quran and the Sunnah, whether it is death, whether it is stoning for adultery, whatever it is, if it is from Allah and His Messenger, that is the best punishment ever possible for humankind. And that is what we should apply in the world. Well, who agrees with that? Allahu Akbar. Are you all radical extremists? Subhanallah.
So that's what's going on. I mean, you can watch the rest of it by, I suppose, finding the link. But that's Islam. That is Islam. If you know any Muslims who say that they don't believe what this guy just
etc., etc., etc.
What he's taught, or what this guy is saying, then you can ask them. But and maybe these guys, maybe this isn't the example, but we do know that this is what Muhammad taught. They're not doing anything. They're not doing anything that Muhammad did not do. They're not doing anything that Muhammad did not tell them to do. This is Islam. This is Islam, and it's what Islam has to offer the world. And this is actually being recorded in Britain. This is actually being recorded in Britain. And so that's what Britain has to offer through their tolerance of other religions. And that's what the United States is offering due to our tolerance of other religions. And because because people in the nation do not want the Lord Jesus Christ as the king of the nation, the king of the hearts, the king of the minds, because we've rejected Jesus, then all that can replace the Lord is the devil. And so there is essentially no defense for this. All right? There is no defense for Islam in America. This is David Williams with Jesus Ministries. Make sure that you spend quality time with the Lord in prayer, because America has abandoned the Lord, and the only people who are going to be guarded and in God's peace are those who come to the Lord through Jesus Christ and live according to the instructions and by the Spirit of the Lord Jesus Christ. Islam isn't about changing hearts. It's about killing people who disagree. And that's all that it has to offer. Allah and the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are not the same. And so let's not say that they are. All gods aren't the same. Most deities are false and are here to kill, steal, and destroy. Allah is among them, and Jesus is calling us away from Islam. This is David Williams again. We'll talk.